Hey everyone, this is Kono once again, back with another video for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. 2019 is coming to a close, so I thought now would be a great time to share my overall experience when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne from the moment it launched on September of this year up until this point. Now, this isn't necessarily kind of like a feedback video or anything like that. This is just kind of like my personal experience when it comes to the game itself when it launched on September of this year. Monster Hunter World Iceborne has been an amazing expansion overall, and there's just so many great aspects that I think Capcom has delivered when it comes to this particular expansion. Honestly, in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite aspects of Monster Hunter World Iceborne as a whole when it comes to the expansion, because there's a lot of great stuff for this, but if I go ahead and talk about all of them, we're gonna have a huge long video about me just talking about my overall experience of Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So in this video, I'm gonna give you a very quick, concise experience of what I have done in Monster Hunter World Iceborne that made it really great for me as an experience overall. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first one that I'm gonna get out of the way when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne in my experience that made it really great is the monsters. Capcom kind of got this balance between 4 different groups of monsters which they released in Monster Hunter World Iceborne specifically. New monsters, veteran monsters, subspecies, and variants. Now, we also have to take into consideration the base game monsters themselves, which also had a huge improvement when it came to the master rank difficulty of Monster Hunter World Iceborne, because they got some new movesets alongside being made stronger than what they were in the high rank and low rank difficulties of the base game. And honestly, the monsters themselves have just been a great experience. It's not a Monster Hunter game without the monsters, and some monsters could be lackluster in comparison to some of the other monsters, but overall, in my personal experience at least, they delivered some great monsters when it came to the Iceborne expansion, and they really improved upon some of the monsters in the base game when it came to the master rank difficulty in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Overall, my personal experience with the Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion has been amazing because of the monsters themselves. Honestly, some of the new monsters like Safi'jiiva is amazing. When it comes to Stygian Zinogre, it's a huge upgrade from previous generation games. Namiel is amazing in design. Honestly, there's just so much stuff that I can talk about when it comes to the monster in Monster Hunter World Iceborne that I could basically make a whole video talking about some of my favorite monsters in this particular expansion, only, not including the base game itself. It's just that amazing. I might do that in future actually. I might do that when it comes to the next year when I start talking about monsters again and doing my Monster Talk series. But overall, the monsters have been the best monsters that I've experienced in Monster Hunter World Iceborne when compared to something like the base game. Honestly, it's amazing. The only game so far that tops it off is Generations Ultimate, but Generations Ultimate kind of brings in most, if not all, of the monsters from previous generations into one game, hence the term Generations. But honestly, Iceborne in and of itself is amazing. Definitely a huge improvement from the base game when it comes to the monsters themselves in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Awesome experience. If you want to experience all of the new monsters and more coming up, I highly suggest you get the Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion if you don't already have it on consoles, and of course, if you're on PC, do get it when it comes out on January 9 of next year. Honestly, it's amazing. Now, the next aspect that I thoroughly enjoyed that made my experience with Monster Hunter World Iceborne amazing has to be the layered armor system. Even though the base game did have a layered armor system, it was lackluster, not just in the amount of armors that we got as layered, but also the user interface. The user interface, I genuinely just hated it when it came to the base game's layered armor system. I just didn't like it. But when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne, it's the complete opposite. I actually really love the user interface because it's simple, straight to the point. It gives you 2 tabs for low, high rank / master rank instead of individual tabs per individual pieces of armor that we had in the base game. And honestly, this is far more streamlined. Now, when it comes to the actual layered armors themselves, the fact that Capcom are expanding on the overall wardrobe of layered armor that we are getting is also awesome. Honestly, I cannot wait when we reach the point that all armor sets are layered. That's gonna happen eventually because Capcom did promise to bring us the master rank armor sets as layered armor as well. And when that happens, it's Fashion Hunter all over the new world when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Honestly, we're going to be seeing some crazy fashion hunters out there, and I cannot wait for that to happen. Definitely, the layered armor system is a huge improvement. When it comes to the overall kind of way that you do layered armor in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, it's very simple as well. You go to the smithy, you craft the layered armor, and then you can change it in the supply box. It's a huge improvement from the Generations Ultimate version of the transmog system where you had to talk to one NPC to get a specific material, then you had to talk to the smithy to get the armor pieces, then you had to talk to another NPC to actually fuse these equipment together, and you had to do that one by one for each individual armor piece, and that was really tedious. And in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, it's just talk to the smithy, go to the supply box, equip them all if you want, or equip them individually. That is it. It's that simple. It's a huge improvement from Generations Ultimate, and it's an amazing system in Monster Hunter World Iceborne as it improved upon what we had in the base game. Honestly, I've enjoyed the layered armor system in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Definitely a huge improvement. Now, the next aspect of Monster Hunter World Iceborne that I thoroughly enjoyed ever since the beta itself has to be the new attack moves. The new attack moves in and of themselves actually helped me to pick up certain weapon types that I never picked up on the base game, and honestly, that is a huge impact when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne for those of us who only use certain weapon types in the base game. Honestly, I never touched anything along the lines of the hunting horn or the hammer in the base game, and in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, that completely changed. In Monster Hunter World Iceborne, I've been playing so much more hammer, I've been playing so much more hunting horn, lance, gun lance, insect glaive, light bowgun, heavy bowgun, all of these weapons that I never really touched in the base game. I've been playing more and more often in Monster Hunter World Iceborne because of the new movesets that they have. Now, in my personal experience, if there's one weapon that really changed the way it played for me when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne, it has to be the Charge Blade. And this is because of the fact that when it comes to the Charge Blade itself, it did take in a skill from Generations Ultimate, a hunter art from Generations Ultimate, which is the Ripper Shield. The Ripper Shield basically causes the shield to rotate in such a high momentum that it basically becomes a gigantic saw blade. And in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, it's the exact same scenario with Savage Axe mode. And Savage Axe mode, in comparison to Ripper Shield, is an actual buff. This means that it maintains that momentum of a spinning shield as long as the buff is on, as long as you have files. And honestly, that was a huge game changer for me because for the most part, the only way I played Charge Blade was I used Super Amped Elemental Discharge, and that was it. SAED all the way. And in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, that completely changed because I genuinely enjoyed the animation of the Savage Axe mode in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. Honestly, some of the animations are amazing when it comes to these new movesets. Another weapon that really changed my personal viewpoint on it is the hammer. Yo-yo hammer attack with the clutch claw. Super awesome. It's so much fun to do a spin to win when it comes to the hammer itself. In Monster Hunter World Iceborne, it's so much more fun when you clutch claw onto a monster after doing a level 2 charge attack. Honestly, it's so much fun. And that's the kind of change that made me pick up certain weapon types that I didn't pick up in the base game when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne. That's how much of an impact the new weapon attack patterns have on me when it comes to the Iceborne expansion. Really awesome stuff. Now, the final aspect that I've thoroughly enjoyed in Monster Hunter World Iceborne is the Safi'jiiva siege itself. Safi'jiiva brought in some new weapons and a new armor set that literally transforms when you unsheath your weapon. It's such a badass armor set. Now, the siege itself is fairly basic when it comes to the actual execution of it, but Safi'jiiva is a highly intelligent monster. It knows when to attack you and how to deter you from doing certain things like focusing on breaking its body parts. It's a very intelligent monster, and I really love that. And the visuals on the siege as a whole is beautiful. It's definitely one of those amazing moments when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne, especially when it comes to the third phase and you have the super critical state. the beautiful aesthetics of Safi'jiiva itself, especially when it comes to the whole constellation-like things on its wings. It's just beautiful overall, and honestly, I cannot help but appreciate it. When it comes to the weapons, versatility is the name of the game. The weapons themselves are very versatile. This means that you can get up to 5 upgrades on the weapon itself, and you can have your own choosing from a pool of skills that you go through, kind of like an RNG roulette when it comes to upgrading the Safi'jiiva weapons. And as soon as you upgrade them to level 23, so you awaken the level of the weapon itself to level 23, you get rewarded with another visual transformation of the weapon itself, very similar to that of the armor, in that as soon as you unsheath it, the weapon takes on a different appearance from what it has when it is sheathed or when it's not awakened. And honestly, it's a beautiful weapon and armor set overall, and Capcom has done an amazing job of delivering that in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I think there's going to be more of this kind of stuff in future. I don't know what Capcom has planned for us, but I am thinking they might be doing some more of this kind of stuff when it comes to any other future monsters. But for the most part, Safi'jiiva in and of itself as of right now is the best when it comes to new weapons and ways to upgrade them, the gimmick of transformation not only in the armor but the weapon itself, as well as the actual siege itself. Honestly, it's a beautiful siege overall, and if you haven't done it as of yet, I highly suggest doing it now because it will end on January 5th, and we have next to no idea as to when Capcom plans on relaunching Safi'jiiva again for Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So definitely do go ahead and go through all of these events as of right now when it comes to Safi'jiiva as well in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, because we don't know when they'll be coming back, but overall it's an amazing experience anyway, so you should be doing them anyway. And that is pretty much it for this video. As you can see, Capcom really delivered when it comes to this particular expansion of the base game when it comes to the Monster Hunter series overall, and honestly, this has been one of those really awesome games from the launch of the actual game itself all the way to the expansion up until this point. Honestly, Capcom has done an amazing job in Monster Hunter World overall, and the Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion has been a great expansion in my personal experience. Honestly, I cannot wait to see what they have planned for 2020 when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I definitely know that they will have something amazing planned for us, but what that is, that remains to be seen. Honestly, I cannot wait for the next developer's diary because that will give us an idea as to what Capcom has planned for Monster Hunter World Iceborne come 2020. We do have the second anniversary event to look forward to, and what that entails, I personally do not know outside of the fact that we're getting a new gathering hub and possibly some new equipment based on space itself. But overall, I cannot wait to see what Capcom has in store for us for 2020 because we have literally just scraped the minimum amount of content that Capcom has managed to deliver for us when it comes to Monster Hunter World Iceborne in terms of post-launch DLC. They still have more planned for this game, and honestly, I cannot wait to see what they have planned. I genuinely cannot wait. And that is pretty much it for me for this video. If you enjoyed these videos, please feel free to leave a like on the video itself as well as subscribe to the channel so you can go ahead and catch up on any future Monster Hunter content that I might be doing or any other games that I might be playing in future. Until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Onward and upward.